All right. You're listening to the Play Like a Girl podcast, episode number 12.
You play ball like a girl!
I'm Nikki B with Play Like a Girl, made just for female athletes.
I can be a girl in a man's game, a diamond in the dirt.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Play Like a Girl podcast. I'm your host, Nikki B. Here at Play Like a Girl, we aim to encourage more confidence in young women who play sports and give them the necessary tools and advice to have an amazing career in sports and beyond. If you are a young woman who plays sports and lives an active lifestyle, or you know one of these young women, I am so excited you are here. Each week, we'll either bring you a guest in the sports world or have a roundtable discussion of the many taboo and important topics in the world of female sports. Are you with me? Let's change the game. All right, listeners. So today I'm actually live at the Dermveda Integrative Skincare Wellness Fair from the Sheraton Grand Sacramento. And if you're listening to this on some sort of podcast platform, it'll be a replay, but we are currently live on Instagram, and this is going to be so much fun. It's filled with makeup consultations, DIY stations to make your own masks, skin and wellness products galore, and guest speakers. Today I'm joined by one of the speakers, Keira Barr, who is a dual board certified MD, author, speaker, and skin health and wellness expert. So thank you so much for joining me, Keira.
It's my pleasure. This is going to be super fun.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk with you today because I am super passionate about skincare. I didn't really get into it until recently. I've just tried to educate myself. So I'm so excited we're talking about this because I think if these young girls take action now, I mean, they're just going to have amazing skin and overall health, for years to come.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let's get into it. So talk to us. Who is Dr. Keira Barr? How did you get into what you're doing today? What's your sports background? Tell us about you.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm dual board dermatologist. So I study skin on the surface and below it on the cellular level. And so connecting the dots going backwards, how I got into it, I was made fun of, actually, for what was on my skin. I was born with 2 birthmarks, one on each side of my face. And I'll never forget, kid walks up to me on the playground and says, what's on your face? Coffee stains? And it was devastating. It was devastating. And so I thought that if what was on my skin was displeasing, then I, as a person, had to be displeasing, right? So it was one of those incredibly soul-crushing experiences as a kid. And I figured out very quickly that I could mask those marks by getting tan. And it wasn't until I became a dermatologist that I realized how dangerous that was. Right. And endured a ton of sun damage and ultimately was diagnosed with skin cancer myself. And that really set me on a completely new trajectory on how I view skin and I view health. Because as an allopathic, traditionally trained doctor, we really weren't taking the whole person into consideration. And I realized that you need to take the whole person into consideration because your skin is, it really tells your life story. And what shows up on it is an indication of what's happening beneath it. So that's what brings me here to this conference today.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, and what an incredible story. I know at the time, I'm sure it was very damaging, very soul crushing, like you said, but it totally made you the person that you are today and got you to where you are today in this amazing career and to help others. I think that's, a very important message. And for our listeners, I think that's a message in itself, the things that you go through as a kid, don't let it get you down.
Use it as a strength.
Exactly. That's the fuel to get you going, and help other people. That's so awesome. Well, let's talk about your sports background because we talked about that a little bit before coming on.
Yeah, so I was an athlete all my life. So as a kid growing up playing soccer, and then my love became lacrosse in high school. I played a little bit in club in college, and then as an adult, parlayed that into running. I mean, I used to hate running. It was a means to an end, and then it became a social activity. I think that's what is amazing about sport is it really becomes a support system, very social, and became an ultra marathoner. So I did halves, fulls, and then ultras. But I for those who are out there who do ultras, that's amazing. But I realized that it was not for me.
I got into running. It's funny too. I used to and growing up, I was a golfer, so
Yeah.
cardio was not my forte. But kind of into college is when I started getting into it, and it's like totally an outlet that I love now. But ultra marathon, not my thing. I've done a couple halves. That's about all I will probably do.
Yeah, because what I didn't realize is the stress that endurance running puts on your body, and when your cortisol levels go so high, your other hormones suffer. Your estrogen, your progesterone, your thyroid hormone, other things get out of balance. And what that looks like and how that shows up on your skin, lines and wrinkles. Cortisol is contributes to breakdown of your collagen and your elastin. It messes with your sleep, and when your cortisol goes up, your melatonin is the hormone that you produce with sleep, and that goes down, and it just causes a whole host of issues. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. It's
Yeah.
crazy that the things we do really affect our
That we-
skin,
right.
and just our overall health in general too.
Totally.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Well, before we dive into all that, because I want to get into more of that later, so our listeners can really figure out steps that they can take to help that, because they play sports, they're really, really active girls, and so what they can maybe do to help it, because they probably can't stop playing their sport, but things that they can do instead to kind of help it. But I want to know from you, so why are you so passionate about women in sports and women in general and their health, and why are you passionate about skincare?
Yeah, so I think why I'm passionate about women in sports, especially right now, is I have a teenage daughter, and I see the challenges that she faces with social media and outside of school. And then when she gets on, she plays soccer and she also runs cross country, and the sense of camaraderie, the support, the sense of what she can accomplish with her own body. And what's been amazing and how we've worked together is to teach her how to fuel her body, and love her body for what it can do, not what she feels like she's supposed to do, or not meeting some metric. It's like, look at what you've been able to achieve. And this whole paradigm shift, I think as women, we are incredibly hard on ourselves. We feel like we're not hitting some benchmark, not meeting some expectation. But if you flip the script and say, oh my gosh, look at what I can do. Maybe I'm not the best, but look at that I bettered myself, and continue that. So that's why right now I'm incredibly passionate about it, because I was seeing some patterns and behaviors that I was concerned about. Right. And not just with my daughter, but with her friends. Right. I'm like, we got to change this conversation.
Definitely. Oh my gosh, I love that you're doing that for them. It's so true, and it's easy for us because we've been through it. So to look back and like that's why I'm doing the podcast, because I really want to help girls try to maybe avoid the problems that I went through, and just give them the necessary tools they need to just be confident in themselves. I think that's such a big thing, and take care of their bodies, because you only have one body, and you might as well love it. You might as well treat it right, because it's only one body, and it's yours. Yeah. So I love that. That's absolutely amazing. So what is, because you talked about it a little bit, what's your best advice for our young female athletes? Because like I said, they are, in the gym 24/7, they're training 24/7, they're practicing, playing sports 24/7, and that's a lot of stress and toll on your body. So what is some of the things that they can do to help alleviate maybe some of the problems that they have, whether it's on their skin or just overall health in general?
So I think it's really important to understand that what shows up on your skin is an invitation to look into what's happening beneath it. So when you're not sleeping well, when you are stressed out, when you're not fueling your body, to nourish it, to really love on it and nourish it, right? That shows up. So that'll show up as dark circles under your eyes. It'll show up as breakouts. It'll show up as like your hair thinning or even hair loss. Right. So those are your body's, it's communicating with you. Those are the messages that it's sending you. So if you're noticing any of these things, your body's not trying to sabotage you. It's not trying to ruin your big event or your big date. It's really saying, hey, I need your attention. I need your help. So some of the biggest things are, my best advice is fueling your body for how you want to feel. Like, eat for how you want to feel. And I think in this day and age, you want to perform your best. So whole, nutrient-dense foods. I know we're in an age of convenience, but like meal prepping and taking the time to really make an effort to make meals at home so that you are not like your blood sugar is not going up and down, so that that'll help with your stress levels. I think that's one of the biggest things. One of the biggest messages is really eat for how you want to feel. So if you want to feel energized, if you want to feel like you're going to kick some butt on that field, then you have to, every time that you go to put something in your mouth, like think about it. It's not food shame. Right. It's really like, I want to feel awesome. Okay, great. What does that look like for you?
Right.
What needs to go on your plate?
Right. Yeah, I think that's such an important, and it's funny. So the high school softball girls that we interviewed a couple podcasts ago, I asked them like their nutrition, and they were kind of like, nutrition wasn't a big thing for them, but I'm like, don't worry, it will be, and especially when they get into college. And I think that's an important lesson for girls to understand. Like, you can eat, kind of bad, as we call them, bad foods every once in a while, but overall, I think it's so important, and especially as you're growing, when you're in high school or college, like your body is still growing, so really to treat it well and to, like you said, eat those whole nutrient-dense foods, that is totally going to shape your overall health, and like you said, your stress, your sleep, your skin, like we were talking about. So that's awesome.
And to your point, like I think I'd really encourage, and I write about this in my book, like to get good and bad out of your vocabulary. Right? Let's not put labels on it. Let's get rid of the shame, because chocolate has really good qualities for and so the key is just to upgrade the choices that you make. There are certain foods, especially in the environmental work group, like the Dirty 15, the Clean 15, like choosing organic when you can, reading your labels to it doesn't have of like pesticides and preservatives. So eat what you love, but eat the best version of it, the cleanest version that you can. Right. Like, you don't have to give up everything. And I think that's so important. Like, life is meant to be enjoyed. Because if you are restrictive, guess what? That just jacks up your stress level.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love that. And I think, it's more like intuitive eating. Your body, listen to what you need to eat. Yeah. So besides nutrition, what are some other things that our athletes can do for their skin and overall health?
Yeah. So just some quick things. Breathing.
Yes.
I think we underestimate the power of breathing. Taking some deep breaths. I mean, the quickest way to reset, most of the time we're in this fight or flight. We're like, we feel like we, go. If you just take some deep breaths, complete reset. So that's things simple. Getting good sleep, right? And having consistent time that you go to bed, time that you wake up. But the other thing too, especially those athletes that play outdoor sports, is sun protection. I don't think, especially as young people, we think we're invincible, and we don't appreciate that that sun protection is so important, because skin cancer is the most prevalent cancer in the United States. That 1 in 5 people will be diagnosed with skin cancer during their lifetime. And I don't think most people appreciate that. So it's not just about sunscreen. And, I say this again in my book, sunscreen can be a part of your everyday routine, like brushing your teeth, but it cannot be your only line of defense. So when you're, out on the field, obviously you want to put on your sunscreen, you want to reapply it if you're out more than 2 hours, but wearing a hat, like that's where you're nourishing your body on all levels, eating a nutrient-dense diet, getting sleep, managing, your stress as best as you can, because all of that will help build your resilience so that when you do go outdoors, able to fend off the damage that's being done by the UV.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's very important. I remember when I was in high school, totally thought I was invincible, and now it's like sunscreen's the number one thing that I do before, because as a golfer, I've had so many bad sunburns, and now that I'm older, I really think about there have been people in my family who have skin cancer, and that can easily happen to me too. So definitely, I love that. I think nutrition, sun protection, sleep, and I think those are awesome things that the girls can do. Breathing too.
Breathing is big.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, before a big test, before anything, just give yourself, and it doesn't take 4 to 7 breaths. It doesn't. It's not like, and meditation, whatever. If you can't sit still and do it, that's totally fine. Exercise is a form of meditation, and that's what I love about sports. Like just being in the moment, focusing on your form, just being the best version of you can. That's a form of meditation. You're just being present.
Definitely. I love that. Well, people are starting to walk in the room, so we'll wrap up a little bit, but I just want to know, any final thoughts from you, advice for high school and college female student athletes for just skincare, overall health, any final thoughts from you?
Just honestly, don't play small.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about what being, playing like a girl mean? And it means just showing up. Like, we talk about our skin as being the largest organ, and it's really how you're showing up in it. Like, are you showing up as confident, or are you showing up as this unique person? Like, no, all of you are, meant to be confident, like, badass girls.
Yes.
Like, and you can just do it.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much. Also, we didn't mention, but Keira has a book. It's The Skin Whisperer. I can't wait to read this. I'm so excited. And thank you so much for being with us here today.
It's my pleasure. Yeah. My pleasure.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Make sure to share this episode with a friend who you think will enjoy this podcast. I'd love to hear your feedback and thoughts on this episode, so head to iTunes to leave a review. You can also send any questions or topics you'd like us to cover by sending us a DM on Instagram at PlayLikeAGirlMP. We want to know what you want to hear. Before you go, screenshot this episode and tag us at PlayLikeAGirlMP so we know you're listening alongside us. Thank you so much for listening to episode 12 of Play Like a Girl. We hope you come back for more. Once again, I'm Nikki B, and remember to never stop playing like a girl.
You play ball like a girl!